All right, what's up, all my heralds out there? If you have not got enough Brandon Sanderson news in the month of March, well, good news, there was more today. Brandon announced the prologue. He read the prologue to the still untitled Stormlight 5. And back when Rhythm of War was coming out, we did pre-release videos for all of the chapters there, kind of breaking down what was going on, what the theories were, et cetera, et cetera. So might as well keep on going. We're not going to get more pre-release chapters for some time here still for Stormlight 5. But without further ado, let's get to it.
This is Phantology.
You may have heard of us.
I'm Steven, your favorite quadriplegic booktuber and host of Phantology Podcast. And let's get to it, the prologue for Stormlight 5. So as most hardcore fans thought, this is from Gavilar's viewpoint. We finally get what we needed to see here to really kind of complete the arc of all of the events here on the fateful day of the assassination. We get some things confirmed that I don't think anyone was questioning too hard. And then we get two major threads of speculation that I think most of the Reddit sphere is going to kind of revolve around different theories around these two things, which I'll get to in just a second. So as we know, since the Rhythm of War prologue, Gavilar is the total dirtbag. This was first kind of introduced in the Navani viewpoint in Rhythm of War and really carried over here. Gavilar is sucked into the visions with the Stormfather, or is it the Stormfather? You decide. More on that later. And the whole time he's like trying to manipulate this being into thinking that he's all pious and he's all about doing what he needs to do in order to become a herald. Interesting that the focus here is on becoming a herald, not a Knight Radiant. That seems like a pretty big change. So he's got a lot of plans here. First of all, he's trying to find the words, which are supposedly in the Way of Kings. And these are the oaths he's going to swear to, again, become a herald, not a Knight Radiant. So is this the Stormfather lying to him? Or is this another being, not the Stormfather, that is kind of manipulating him to think this, or is he just like being led astray? It's an interesting change here. I don't know if we know enough to really answer this one yet. He's also potentially looking for the Oathgate out in the Shattered Plains, which he is correct about. There is indeed an Oathgate, but unfortunately, our boy here does not live long enough to get there. And then the other thing he's trying to do is this whole like moving investiture off worlds with his aluminum box and the Sons of Honor. And that seems to be what he has the most success with before the end of the day here, which he obviously does not live through. So he goes through this vision. Stormfather seems kind of more and more sus here, appearing in different ways, lying to him, doing some things that previously the Stormfather like said he couldn't do, like watching for people outside of the room. It's all very strange. And then he meets with Thydekar and Ristaris, two people who have been, very much kind of mysterious figures for books and books. And, now here they are. We obviously know who Thydekar is. And I suppose, spoiler for Mistborn if you haven't read that yet, but maybe stop now. Thydekar is Kelsier, and we get to see him on camera here. He's not actually there. It looks like a Seon is kind of doing a projection of him. It's similar to how Seance have communicated in Elantris. So Kelsier is involved here because he wants to get to Ristaris. Ristaris is Kalak, and I think we knew that before. I'm actually not sure. It's been a little bit since I read Rhythm of War. I have not reread it since it first came out, but I'm like 99% sure that it's Kalak, and I think we already knew that, so I don't think that's a new detail there, but correct me if I am wrong. He comes in with Nail, who we've seen accompanied with before in the other prologues. He's a total weirdo, a bit of a wimp, but he does give some information about Ba-Edo Mishram. And I don't know if I have enough to really theorize here. This is going to be important for the last, but like Ba-Edo Mishram has been something that has been, really came out in the last book and seems to have been a setup. So I think we'll get some concrete stuff later in the book, but I don't have enough to really form any theories yet. We did have one person on Discord saying that he thought that Bam, Ba-Edo Mishram, was in fact the pseudo Stormfather. Okay, possibly. Like I really don't know. I've seen a few theories. That's not my favorite one, but it could work, and it would probably require Gavilar to be have a hemalurgic spike in him, which apparently there's a word of Brandon After this, Navani comes in, and then it kind of cuts away because we've already seen that interaction from the previous book. And then Amram comes in, and Taravangian is accompanying him. And there's a little interesting here. I don't know if there's any big secrets from Taravangian, but he does like buy into what Gavilar is saying right away, and he tells him about his mother's death rattle. And it makes sense. Obviously, it doesn't make sense to Gavilar, but it makes sense to us. So now we're getting closer to the end, and Gavilar's having another little conversation with the quote-unquote Stormfather. And he has this interesting idea of like, hey, I want to be a herald because I could have immortality. They just send me off to damnation, and I would just immediately give up and come back and keep on fighting. And I could fight and fight and fight and get all this glory, and it'd be awesome. I could just leave my people and never die. And the Stormfather, or whoever this is like horrified by the idea. But I do wonder, like, whoever this Stormfather being is, could this idea have planted a seed of something that is important later on? It seems like a clever enough idea where it may come back to haunt us in Roshar at some point. After this, the Stormfather has a really strong reaction because apparently a herald has died, and he doesn't say who it is, but I think there's enough evidence to form a really strong, kind of cool theory here. And this is all pointing at Shallan's mother being a herald. Her death, the timeline of her death aligns right around this time, and it makes sense with the description that we got earlier in the chapter. This is the herald Shanarach, and Brandon just described her as having flaming red hair, like really obvious description that aligns with Shallan, obviously. And the theory then would go on to be that she gave up immediately after being killed and then triggered the desolation, because Brandon has said it wasn't actually Talon who broke and triggered the desolation that started at the end of the Way of Kings. So it was Shallan's mother, and that aligns. I think there's another comment saying that Shallan basically screwed everything up by killing her mom. I don't remember exactly where that is. Let me know. But I like this theory. I like this theory quite a lot. It seems to kind of fall in line with the way that Brandon usually reveals these types of things. The Stormfather's had enough. He leaves. He doesn't trust Gavilar anymore. Sadeas comes bursting in, saying that there's an assassin coming. And then, we finally see from the viewpoint of Gavilar the climactic events here. It happens pretty quickly. At the end, the Stormfather says he's never going to trust another member of the Kholin family, which is interesting because obviously the Stormfather bonds with Dalinar, like not 2 books later. So was that a lie? Was it a different being? Did Dalinar win him over? Because we know initially the Stormfather was pretty cagey around Dalinar, and he kind of forced him into that bond. So I could see it either way, if it was the real Stormfather and things have just changed for him over the years, or if it was another type of Stormfather being here. The possibilities that I could see are Bayado Mishram with the spiking Gavilar theory. I could see Ishar having connected the Stormfather visions to Gavilar. That seems kind of strange though, because like what is the motivation for Ishar there? Ishar is just kind of crazy. Is he going to do this? It could be Odium, but same thing, like would Odium act in this way? I think he has the power to do this, but it seems a little out of character and doesn't really align with his goals. The theory that I'm going to go with, because it's just out there enough to be exciting and something that would be kind of fun if it came true, is this is not the Stormfather, but the Everstormfather, because different forms of investiture, like if this was separated, from the shard, this Everstormfather was separated from its shard long enough, it could develop sentience and then eventually, become basically a cousin to the Stormfather and act in a similar way, but maybe have some different abilities, maybe be slightly off. So that's what I'm going with. I think this is the Everstormfather. Probably wrong. I thought that Dalinar's wife was cultivation prior to Oathbringer, so I'm kind of there for these out there theories, but who knows, maybe this will come true. And then last thing, Gavilar's dead. So there were a lot of theories that Gavilar was potentially not dead and would become Odium's champion and had somehow like ascended or gone off to damnation instead of really dying, because we don't actually see the death. And I mean, we don't necessarily see the death here, but it seems like he's dead. Which is maybe unfortunate, because I liked the theory that Gavilar was kind of being set up to be like more and more evil, and that was a twist on who we thought he was initially. And so it'd be fun to have him be someone that we could really hate and he could be the champion and we could watch Dalinar crush him and it would be a nice brother on brother battle at the end. Maybe it's still possible, but after this prologue, it kind of seems like it's not. So, continue speculating who Odium's champion is. Could it be Gavilar? That's the second place running, because obviously Dalinar's not going to kill his little nephew, is he? Wait, not nephew, grand nephew, right? Is that how family trees work? Okay, so that's enough speculation for now. I guess tune back in like a year. Where are we at now? A year and a half, maybe, when the pre-release chapters start coming out. We'll see what changes. Sanderson did say there was one timeline thing that was slightly messed up that they need to fix. So maybe there'll be some slight things, but I think we can start theorizing about these two big things: Shallan's mom becoming or being revealed as a herald, and who is this Stormfather that was influencing Gavilar. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to chat more about any of this stuff, you can theorize with us on Phantology Discord. Links to join are in the episode description below. Good time, all theories welcome. And if you have a good one, we'll probably include it. We'll probably steal it, borrow it, as Wayne would say, and put it in a future episode, and you can get a little bit of credit. So until next time, journey before destination, all that good stuff. See you later.